Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're ranking the best diamond cards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. We got 30 or so of the best diamonds in the game. I generally went with some pretty big names as well as recent cards and really good cards. Tried to balance this list out pretty good. And I mean, it might be tough to get some of these guys in the lower tier, but we'll have to figure it out as we go. And I'm sure there's a lot of diamond cards, considering there's like 150 cards in the game that are diamonds that aren't hidden gems that y'all probably feel like I forgot. So feel free to leave a comment. I'll try to go through the comments and let y'all know where I would rank each of those cards. But yeah, without further ado, Jaren Jackson Jr. does go S tier. He is one of the best diamond cards in my team. An elite level shooter who is also a great defender, has a bigger player build than even his height is listed at. Guards at the very well at the 4 or the 5. I mean, he's elite at both positions. I think he's a great card. I think he's S tier for sure. John Isaac, amazing defensively, not quite us offensively. He's got a smooth jumper, but he can't really rhythm shoot with his jumper, and he is a great slasher, but he's got no shot creation. I defensively think he's S tier, like without a doubt. Offensively, not quite. He might get moved up to the S tier overall, but right now I think I'm going A. And honestly, I think I'm going A with Marcus Smart as well. As good as he is, again, I think there's a better point guard on this list than Marcus Smart. I think he's an awesome card, great value, but again, we've only got 30-something of these cards in this list. Not everybody can go in the highest tier. Marcus Smart's one downfall probably is just the fact that he's only 6'4". Is that a huge flaw? No, not really. Is he still a very good card? Absolutely. Could you argue him S tier? For sure. I just think I'd go A. Danny Green is great as a 3 and D. He's actually got a good dribble style, good escape as well. He's got a great release. He's good defensively. Okay, as a slasher, like not a bad card at all. Could certainly be argued A tier. He's probably the 2nd or 3rd best shooting guard on this list. Definitely a very viable card, but I feel like with the depth of this list, again, he's got to go a little bit lower down. I think Dort is better. This Dort card is fire. Not a lot of people have used him just because of how many higher tier shooting guards there are at this point, but this Dort card is an elite level shooter with a great release, also a great slasher, and really good defensively. I will say Danny Green's probably the better shooter. Dort is the better slasher. Similar defensively, I think I might give Dort the slight edge. You could argue either one of these guys probably. I think I'm going Dort in A and Danny Green in B though. Dwight Howard is a 6'10" center who can't shoot the ball. He's a huge name, which is the main reason I included that card. But at this point, he is not elite. I think he is D tier probably on this list, considering how good the rest of these cards pretty much are. Chris Paul, unfortunately, is going to be the same. His step back is great, and he can kind of dunk wide open, but he's only 6 foot. That kills him defensively at this point, and offensively, he doesn't have that great slashing ability. Jumper is good, not great. I think he's probably D tier at this point, though. I just can't put him higher than that, especially on a list this good. Brad Daugherty, going B tier. 7-footer. Really smooth jump shot, although he's got a low 3 ball. He is very good defensively. He's got pretty good speed in the low 80s, which is very solid, especially for a 7-foot big. I think as a whole, he has a pretty good floor spacer. I do like the card. I think I'd go B tier for Brad Daugherty. I think he's solid, like very solid. Dyson Daniels is probably the best point guard on this list. And I mean, honestly, there's 2 guys I like more than Marcus Smart on this list. So Dyson Daniels, though, he is the best point guard, the best diamond point guard in the game, in my opinion. I don't think it's all that debatable. I feel like he's a very easy S tier. Incredible defensively, 6'7", has an awesome release as well. I think he's got to go S tier. Wilt Chamberlain, one of the best inside bigs in the game, even as only a diamond. I still think he's got to go C tier though, just because the inability to shoot the ball. You can't put him any higher than that. But with that being said, I'm also not going to disrespect him and put him in D tier at this point. He's a super duper solid card. Tim Duncan, you were great for your time, but you're a little bit slow. You don't have elite level size. He can hit wide open from 3, but that's about it. I think at this point, when you compare it to the best of the best, he's got to go in the D tier. And these even though they're diamonds, these are the best for the diamonds. So I think Tim Duncan is going to go down in that D tier. Obviously, Paulo Banchero is a no-brainer S tier. 6'10", gets every single badge in the game when he's badged, and his jumper's great, and he's an exceptional slasher. He's just got super complete stats and badges all the way around. He is very good. That one is a no-brainer S tier for me. Steven Jackson, kind of a do-it-all small forward. Maybe not do-it-all insanely well, but do-it-all good. Shoots the ball well, good slasher, solid all-around defender, just super solid card. Feel like he's very well-rounded. I think he's definitely one of those guys who's solidly B tier. Gets the job done for sure. Andrew Wiggins, I think he's worse than Danny Green. I have Danny Green in B tier. I think I got to go Wiggins in C tier at this point. Very athletic, yes. He is a good shooter. He's not a bad defender. Doesn't really have much at all by the way of shot creation, though, I will say. think he's an okay card at this point, maybe a slight bit outdated, but not awful. I mean, he's still usable enough, but I still think I'd go C tier. Russ, his jumper's on rhythm shootable. He doesn't have interior defense at this point. He was the best point guard in the game day one. At this point, though, he's not. I think he's D tier. Honestly, I'd consider taking Chris Paul over him. In fact, I probably would take CP at this point. So I think Russ got to go D tier. Not a good enough shooter. Not a good enough interior defender either. He's not great at this point. I think D tier is the right spot for him. Reggie Lewis, outside of the low 3-ball rating, which is only like a 73, everything else with the card is good, and he's got a great jumper, which does help to make up for that lower 3-ball rating. I think B tier is fair for Reggie. He's a very, very solid card, and I think B tier is the perfect spot for him. Glenn Robinson is a better Steven Jackson, in my opinion. Makes me almost want to move Stack down a tier. I think I'll leave Stack in the B tier for now. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm moving Stack down to C tier. I think that's the right spot, because Glenn Robinson, I think, has a little bit more completeness all the way around. I like the card a little bit more. I think you could argue either of them, but I think I'm going to give Glenn the slight edge, put him in the B tier. And then Rui, despite the jumper not being top tier, he gets every single badge in the game. He's not John Isaac level, but he's not Steven Jackson level either. I think B tier is perfect for Rui Hachimura. Very, very good card, especially when he's badged. Getting every badge in the game is fire. Very, very good card. AC Green, I'm actually going S tier. He's amazing defensively. His release is incredible. He is a just perfect budget power forward. Can guard against the best power forwards in my team, except for like the true super giant power forwards. But even then, he's got great defense. So he'll get you some stops if you put him in the right spot. I think he's really, really good. I think he's S tier for sure. I'm going to put Miles Turner in A because I put Brad Daugherty in B. I think Miles Turner is better than Brad Daugherty. He's 6'11", very good defensively, smooth jumper, has enough speed at like an 80. Not a bad card at all. I think he's definitely A tier. Jaime Jaquez, I'm actually putting him above Glenn Robinson. His jumper's faster than Glenn. He's a slightly better on-ball defender than Glenn is. Glenn might give you a little more shot creation, a little more shooting badges, but overall, I think Jaime Jaquez's jumper is incredible. I think he's one of those guys who's had great longevity since he came out with the Dia de los Muertos event. I feel like B tier is right for him, and I'm going to move Glenn down to C tier to be with Steven Jackson. I think that's probably more accurate. Kuminga's on the exact same level as those other two guys, by the way. Jumper's good. It's definitely improved this year. He is very athletic, but he's not unbelievable defensively. In terms of stats and badges all the way around, he's not like a game-changing card by any means. I think C tier at this point is fair for Kuminga. Karl-Anthony Towns also going to go C tier. Stretch big, yes, but a stretch big with a wonky jumper, not great defense, and not super elite speed. I think I'd take Daugherty over Cat just because Daugherty's going to give you more on the interior, even if he's not the same shooter as Cat, but also is better. His jumper's better than Cat's. I know he's got a much lower 3-ball rating and much worse badges, but the jumper is better. I think C tier is right for Cat, and B tier is right for Brad Daugherty. Chet Holmgren, also going to have to go C tier at this point. I mean, he's not super fast. His jumper's not great. He's, his jumper's not terrible. He is 7'1", but his strength is super low, which does hurt him in terms of the rebounding and some of the mashing stuff. He's not horrible, but I think at this point he's got to go C tier, honestly, as well. Like not a bad card, but also not a great one. Kobe White, you're fine to go B tier. I think that's about as high as I could put him. But he has a really good release. He's very solid as a slasher. He's got a very big player build as well, which is really nice. I think he's kind of slept on. I think he's very solid and a B tier option for sure. Andre Kirilenko, honestly, his jumper's really fast. It's good with the stick, and that helps him. He's good defensively. He doesn't have much by the way of shot creation or slashing at all, but I still think I'll give him C tier because he's good enough as a shooter and a defender to where he does deserve to be decently placed on the list. PJ Brown is going to go high A tier for me. He is really, really good. Arguably S tier, I think, just like guys like Marcus Smart, Jonathan Isaac are, but not quite to me. I think if his speed was a little higher, I'd put him S tier, and maybe if the 3-ball rating was a little higher, but his jumper's good. He's amazing defensively. He dunks the ball really well. He's a very, very good card. I feel like he's A tier. I'm putting Lonzo in S tier. I know that's 2-point guards in S tier. Lonzo absolutely deserves it. He is an elite level card with a very good release, great size, defends really well, dunks the ball well. I feel like he's pretty similar to Dyson Daniels without as many elite defensive Hall of Fame badges. Is probably the main difference between the cards, but Lonzo's a very, very good card. Elite level budget point guard option for sure. Arvydas Sabonis jumper is awful, and he's got 50 speed. That's a new card. People seemed to think he was decent when he came out, or seemed to think he would be decent because he's had good cards in the past. But I promise y'all, he sucks. He is D tier for sure. OG Anunoby, really good small forward. Definitely on that Rui Hachimura, Jaime Jaquez level at the small forward position. A guy who is going to defend his butt off with a very smooth jumper and good athletic ability. Overall, kind of does everything you need at a solid level, which is what you love to see out of a diamond small forward. Good enough to be B tier for sure. Al Harrington, amazing pick and pop power forward. Really good smooth jump shot. Got enough speed and defense as well to where I feel like he's viable as a I think he's viable enough as like an all-around power forward, not just as a pick and pop shooter. Obviously, pick and pop shooting is what he does best, but I think overall he's good enough all the way around to be a tier of AC Green as S tier. And then finally, we had Alex Caruso, who's not quite as good as Marcus Smart, but gives you about the same thing. Good slasher, very good point of attack defender, smooth jumper, got decent size at the point guard position. Again, got to go A tier. I'd definitely take him over a guy like Kobe White. Not even close. So in my opinion, again, he is a distinct A tier option. And yeah, I think this is where we're going to call the list. I could move like Wilt down to D tier to make it a little more even, but I just don't think I really need to do that. I think this is a decently accurate list. Again, I know I left a lot of diamonds off the list, so if you want to hear my thoughts on somebody else, feel free to leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you and let you know. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.